Hello and welcome. Over the last few years, I've been noticing I've been upgrading my devices less and less. I feel this is primarily because for me to get any significant improvements over what I already have, it's going to cost me an inflated fortune. And for stagnant devices like cheap e-readers, I never felt the need to upgrade from my existing Kobo. However, with Kobo's newest line of Clara e-readers, I feel that this time there might be a reason to upgrade. Now, what are Kobo's newest e-readers and what is improved about them? Well, they are the Kobo Clara Black and White and the Clara Color. The obvious improvement is the color display, which I'll go into later. But even with the black and white, it's a noticeable improvement from the last gen. Those improvements come in the form of software optimizations, from the snappiness of the interface to how quickly books turn and the device wakes. It feels like Kobo went in and fiddled with just about every dial that they could find in this device, so that finally Kobo's e-readers can now trade blows with the latest Kindle. Sure, comics and zooming are still sluggish. Kobo wasn't generous enough to upgrade the base specs of these new Claras, but the in general usability has improved so much, but separate them and it's difficult to tell the new Claras from the old ones. I feel that's because the new Claras borrowed almost excessively from the Clara 2E's design. Outside of the textured finish, which was borrowed from the Nia, the shape, power button, and sleep sensor are all exactly the same. It's so similar. If you were to try to fit the new Clara into the old Clara's case, it will go to sleep and you can interact with the power button through the hole in the back. It just doesn't fit, and it's easy to pop out since the shell is just ever so slightly thicker and ever so slightly longer, presumably because of the new color screen. However, since I have one of our GLoA e-reader cases, the new shell is not an issue, since with a simple arm swap, I can continue using my Clara 2E's case with my new Clara. That said, if you don't already have a case, I am happy to announce that our Kobo Clara Black and White and Color cases are available now at 16bitstore.com. The links will be in the description below. While it's hard to tell the old Clara apart from the new one, trying to tell the two new Claras apart from each other is almost impossible, at least until I put them to sleep. Every inch of these devices are physically and performantly identical to each other, from the weird pinhole in the top shell to how they render books and comics. The only difference that you as the end user will ever see from these e-readers is the color display. And as someone who already owns a color e-reader, I will say that Kobo did an amazing job here. Kobo has refined the color science of this display to such a point that I can't believe they're using the same display technology. It looks good, really good, with the only compromise being a slight oily rainbow on some black and white content, which Kobo is aware of and can be blurred within the settings. While I do wonder why this rainbow effect is only showing up in the Kobo, the 6-inch screen size is small enough that I'll take the sharp image with a rainbow over a cleaner but blurry one. I would rather Kobo spend their time focusing on utilizing the color that's in this display better in their own software. Yes, color covers are very nice, especially when browsing the store or my own library. Plus, the color highlights are a godsend compared to the mess they had before. But from the reader to the menus, there is virtually no color customization or personalization to think of. Color is the best way to make people more attached to their devices, and the lack of options to even add accent colors is embarrassing. But if I'm honest, I'm just nitpicking. Both of the new Claras are very good e-readers, if it wasn't for one very stubborn issue. Kobo, in their infinite wisdom, has decided to keep with only 16 gigabytes of storage for their e-readers again, which means that for my large library of books, I am still tethered to my PC again. If I wanted that kind of reading experience, I might as well just keep with my Kobo Nia. And if I was thinking of upgrading to the Clara Black and White, that is what I intend on doing. Minus audiobooks, the Nia does everything I want a Kobo to do. And if they aren't side by side, the improved user experience isn't good enough to be worth the inflated price. And I have the feeling that even Kobo kind of acknowledges this too, since Kobo's MSRP for the Clara Black and White is $10 less than what the Clara 2e used to be in the US. I personally feel that's still too much for only 16 gigs of storage, especially with the Kindle being significantly cheaper with the same storage specs. But for what the Clara Black and White is, it's not a bad e-reader and is worth getting, presuming it ever goes on sale. And while a lot of the same can be said about the Clara Color, the simple fact that it does have a color display puts the Clara Color into a unique position for me. On the one hand, it does nothing different from previous Kobos. There's still no storage expandability and I can't plug headphones into it. But on the other hand, it does have that improved user experience and an amazing colored screen. Yes, this is still a Kobo, but this is the first Kobo that I've genuinely liked. And I've liked it so much that I actually wanted to upgrade to it from my Nia. And I have. But I feel for everyone else, this is how I would recommend it. If you are thinking of upgrading your existing Kobo or getting your very first e-reader, the Clara Color is not only the best e-reader I've found on a budget, but it may as well be your last upgrade, since it has the last major upgrade that any e-reader can put, which is a color display. And considering how long it took Kobo to even put 16 gigs of storage in their budget e-readers, the probability of Kobo putting 32, let alone 64 gigs of storage in a device like this will either take decades or never, considering just how many normal books you can put on this device. And if you were thinking of getting a color e-reader, the Clara Color is currently the cheapest color e-reader on the market. So it's well worth trying and then flipping if you want to get a better or different device later down the line. As for the Clara Black and White, get this thing if it's on discount. It's a really good e-reader, but on paper and compared to Kobos of the past, you are better off skipping this and getting an older device or waiting until the right deal comes around. Especially with the Clara Color being so little more, it's just not a good deal. But anyways, thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have yourself a good day. And as always, take care.